And what we wanted to share with you today about maximizing your CRM is really important because we believe that your CRM could be the most powerful weapon in your commercial arsenal. But you're only truly going to harness its potential if you know how to use it properly. And that's exactly what we hope that you will leave today's webinar with. A whole bunch of ideas that you can use to maximize your CRM and see, new results, better results, and a higher return on your investment. One of the common challenges that we hear from our customers, you'll see that they're different, but you may relate to one or another one of these. So we're going to ask you, if you can relate to any particular one, and if you can, please let us know, how you feel about this, because it'll help you understand where you need more help and perhaps start a conversation with us so we can help you in that area. So common challenges are, look, we invested a lot of money in the CRM, but the adoption, the users are not really using the application as we thought that they should. The second most common challenge is, we have the CRM, it's great, but it's primarily used to run reports. And of course, this is no fun because you didn't need to make this investment to pull reports when this is something you could do in Excel or some other tool. We hear management say, hey, we had these great expectations. We're going to increase sales. We're going to increase the return on investment on our campaigns. We're going to improve customer satisfaction, and none of this has happened. So you have a low perceived value of the CRM. Another one is, we have tons of information in the CRM, but it's of very little use to us. Use and continuity. This is where we have cases that customers say, look, we started this project with a bang. Everybody was on board, but, management has turned over. We have new management. They don't see that much of the value. They're not too interested in the CRM. So, it's lackluster what we're seeing as a result of the CRM. So, you want to make sure that there is that continuity, that it doesn't matter who comes and goes. Your CRM continues to deliver the value that you're expecting it to deliver. The next one we hear often is lack of resources. In other words, our processes have changed. We have a different methodology, for us to sell, but the CRM is still kind of set up the way that we implemented it 3 years ago. And that's because we don't have administrators or individuals that can actually manage the application. Or the other one is, we have all these new business processes, but they're not in the CRM, and we want to make sure that they're automated as well. So, who's aligning the business process with the automation to make sure that the CRM is always up to speed with your business. And the final one is, we have the CRM, we're using it, it's a great tool for us, but how do we do more? How can we get more value out of the CRM capabilities? So these are common questions, these are common challenges, and what we want to do now is I'm going to very briefly set up a poll here, and I'm going to ask you guys to tell me if you identify with any of these challenges. So the questions are going to be, is it slow adoption? I'm only using it for reporting. Am I lacking the resources to manage or update the CRM? Or you're not sure how to expand on your CRM capabilities. So here it goes. We're going to ask you to please fill in your response so you can go in and enter the adequate response. So we urge you, if you're in attendance, please go on and indicate what challenges you identify in your business to be, more affecting your business. Okay, so thank you for that. We're going to close the poll. And again, if you want to share your ideas with us individually, please do. It's important for us to hear from you and understand where you are. I'm going to give you what we got. We got 70% of the people wrote in slow adoption, and we had 20% said it's only being used for reporting, and 10% said not sure how to expand the CRM capabilities. So, that's pretty reflective of what we've heard out there. The reporting thing seems to be, a common denominator. So again, thank you for your feedback, and we hope that we're going to help you address, some of this as we move forward in the presentation today. So having shared with you these common challenges and having received your feedback, let's start with adoption. What can we do to increase adoption? And here's something that we feel is absolutely important. Number one, you need to deliver a strong communication plan. And this plan needs to emphasize the benefits to the users. If the users are not convinced that this is going to help them be more productive, perform better, or make more money, they're not going to see any incentive to use it because they're going to see this as more work. Yet, if they see how this is going to help them adhere to best practices more effectively, sell more, close more deals, and it's simply a way of doing things differently, they're going to realize that, no, this is not more, this is not more work. This is me working more effectively. And I think that's very, very powerful. Two, you want to create a culture of ongoing collaboration in the CRM. The CRM should not be a static, screenshot for you to have a meeting. It should be something where you share ideas, where you collaborate through applications like Chatter, what you present when you have your meetings, where you feedback, so all the information is going to reside and be found in the CRM. It's also going to help you produce the reports and the dashboards that you need to know how you're doing against your targets. But more importantly, what things you need to do to improve those results. That's going to be very, very valuable. Three, you want to create customized modular training videos. And this is really important because what happens is you deploy the CRM, you invest in the initial training, but 6 months from now, 20% of your sales force is comprised of different people. And guess what? They have no idea how to use the Salesforce application or the CRM that you have. But if you have these videos, hey, you're onboarded, welcome. First thing you need to do is you need to go through modules 1 through 5 of our Salesforce training videos. And you need to fill out the assessment so that we know that whether you pass or not. If you pass, you move on to your next module. If you don't, you repeat the previous module. This is going to help get everybody on the same page. Really, really valuable. So you want to make sure that you have these, short video modules to help anybody that that joins the company to start using Salesforce right away. You also want to drive initiatives and contests to help accelerate adoption. So, the people that log in the most updates to their opportunities this month are going to get a gift card. The people that convert the most leads into opportunities are going to get a gift card. The people that reach their, sales target first, and that's reflected in Salesforce, are going to get a prize. This is going to get people engaged because they see value. It's going to be fun, and they're going to be a lot more open to using the application much more frequently. Eventually, trust me, they'll end up loving it. It doesn't seem like that at the beginning, but we do have a large number of customers where their salespeople can live without Salesforce. And that's exactly where you want to get to, but that's not going to happen overnight. So you want to look at some of these ideas. And you want to pay attention to the challenges presented by your users. Because sometimes they're telling you, hey, this is not working for me. Hey, you're making this process too tedious. If we can make it easier for the users, they're going to use it, more effectively, and they're going to see more value, and they're going to see that you're listening to them. So Salesforce or your CRM is not going to become the enemy. It's going to become their friend. And that only happens when you pay attention to what they're telling you and you help them, overcome those challenges by coaching them, by training them, and by making the changes that you need to in the application. So here are, 5 tips that we feel can help you right away, and we hope that you'll take up, some of these in your business. The next thing we want to talk about is CRM capabilities beyond reporting. So Salesforce, we bought it. It's great reporting, great dashboards. But guess what? People are using it mechanically. They're not using it interactively. They're not using it to adhere to best practices. So you're missing out on the true value if you're only using it for reporting. So make sure that you're using your CRM to make sure that people are adhering to best practices, that they're complying with your methodologies. This is going to be absolutely crucial for them. Number 2, you want to make sure you're using your CRM capabilities to track demand generation. If you're doing something to capture leads, that should be in Salesforce so you can see if it's being effective or not and what your return on investment is. You have to use it for segmentation. We have these old methods, platinum accounts, and those are platinum accounts because that's what the previous boss called them. No. Segmentation should be fluid. It should be dynamic. It changes as the customer gives us more value, and the customer is expecting for us to recognize that value and reward them for that value. So you want to make sure your segmentation is based on your data in Salesforce. You want to use your application for cross-selling and upselling. What have they bought? That lets me know what they have not bought. What customers haven't bought anything from me? Let's use an acquisition strategy with them. So again, so much more than reporting. Your account planning. I want to go into my account record and I want to see what you're going to do to gain wallet share, what you're going to do to position new products in there, what you're going to do to retain the account. It's a war out there. So use the W for wallet share, the A for acquisition, and the R for retention. I need to have a multi-dimensional account plan to make sure that I am developing and retaining my key customers. Track your tactical sales plans. If you decide tomorrow you're going to do a blitz in a particular territory, make sure that every call that is done in that territory includes the territory name and the subject. That way you can track and create reports to see who's following those steps, who's actually attacking that territory, who's not, what's responding. So much more that you can do by simply making sure that you're using your application properly. Marketing automation. If you're using Salesforce to its capabilities and you have all your customer data, why don't you start doing marketing automation, drip campaigns, where you send a message and based on the response of your customer, you send another message until they're actually truly interested in buying a product, and then you have them speak to a sales rep. You know, it's, again, making sure that you are taking everything that you can out of the information in Salesforce. Use the Service Cloud. Most of our customers start with the Sales Cloud with the idea that they're going to move into the Service Cloud, but they never get there. There's a bunch of resources and functionalities like your knowledge base, meaning customer calls in, I can go into my knowledge base and know how to resolve that customer's problem on the first call. Self-service portals. I want my customer to be able to log in and tell us what's wrong with his product so that we can help him. And then we can update him through the self-service portal, and he can see in real time how you're progressing. You know, meeting your SLAs. If your SLA is 3 hours response time, how do you know that you're actually following that? Again, this is all very, very important because once you sold a service to a customer, they have expectations about the service and the experience that you should be delivering for them. Then look at add-on applications. Yes, I have Salesforce. I'm running my campaigns. I'm running my, customer service. But you know what? I don't have visibility of my inventory. Well, let's create an application for your inventory. What about commissions? We're doing everything in Salesforce, but my commissions are still being done manually. Well, let's do that on Salesforce. Again, so much more that you can really do. Pre-sales management. Most customers have it for sales, marketing, customer service, but what about the pre-sales process? The design of a solution, the configuration, all these things need to be done as objects in Salesforce so you can automate the process end to end. You don't want to have gaps in the visibility of your customer journey. Contract management. I've sold the business, but I want to know when this contract expires so I can go and renew proactively. This you can do in your CRM. Document automation. I want to be able to send a survey. I want people to go out and complete that survey, and I want that information to register under that contact record in the application. You can do that with document automation. You can do that with e-signatures. I send my contract, they sign it electronically, it comes back, it gets attached to the opportunity record, everything is done for you. The old days of sending, a contract after having worked in Word for 5 hours and then calling every day to see if they signed and then scanning it and resending it and adjust, those days are gone. Use technology to help you make these processes more efficient. Your communities. How are you interacting with your customers? And how are your customers taking advantage of the features that other customers are seeing as valuable to them? Create those customer communities. Create communities for your partners to log in leads and opportunities for you to have real-time visibility of how they're progressing. It's becoming a one-on-one conversation. It's no longer a one-to-many. So you want to create and enable the facilities for your customers and for your partners to interact with you in an efficient and cost-effective way. And of course, field services. What happens in the process of, repairing a product for a customer? How quickly is that being done? How are work orders managed? All these things are going to be, crucially important to deliver an end-to-end experience that is positive. and also performance management. You know, do you know that there's work.com where I can not only track my quantitative results for my sales organization, but I can also see if they've met their certification criteria, if they've, you know, presented ideas that have been implemented, you know, into our processes. How are we measuring initiative? How are we recognizing, you know, the other value that goes beyond the numbers? So the world is really your, you know, there's no end to what you can do. You know, you can do everything. Of course, you need to know what your CRM is capable of doing, and sometimes you need other people to come and, you know, give you ideas. And that's what we're hoping that we're doing here today. So as you can see, the CRM goes much, much, much broader than just reporting. And we hope that you can take some of these ideas as well and apply them to your business. Let's address the issue of great expectations. So, you know, we thought we were going to grow the business, but the CRM was just a sunk cost. Well, let's talk about this. Why are you not increasing your sales? You know, are you not getting better lead sourcing? Are you not tracking your qualification in the application? Where are your opportunities stuck so that you can accelerate the sales cycle? You know, what is the percentage of opportunities that you're actually closing? Because if I can generate better and more qualified leads, if I can shorten the sales cycle so I can move on to the next deal, and if I can increase my closing rate, I can guarantee you're going to see growth in your sales. But it's probably because you're not using the application properly to guide you and to measure the output of these activities. Also, your customer experience. You know, how are you automating customer service? Customers don't want to call and wait on the phone. They want to be able to log in their problem. They want to be able to, you know, rant on, you know, Facebook. And they also want to be able to rave on Facebook when you solve their problems. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're using technology to create a better experience for your customer using the channels, you know, and the devices that they want to use. You know, better knowledge of customer needs. Are you selling the right products? You know, are you, you know, resolving the problems quickly enough? You know, these are the things that you want to make sure that you're using, that you have the proper scripts, that you have your knowledge base, that you have the self-service portals. All these things are going to significantly improve your customer experience. And finally, customer loyalty, that retention factor. You know, are you able to use the application to recognize the value of your customers and reward them accordingly? Are you using it to strengthen relationships with customers? Do you have every customer's birthday? Do you have every customer's hobby? Are you inviting the right customers to the right activities and events? You know, so your ability to exceed your customer's expectation is only going to be as good as the information you're using. So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of all these things in your CRM. I promise you, you can see incredible results, but only if you're using your application properly. As we continue to progress here, we want to speak a little bit about actionable information. You know, I mentioned before, hey, so I have all this data, but I'm not using it. Hey, what we want you to do is simplify your processes, focusing only on the data that you can use. Because what happens now is you probably have 600 fields, and you wouldn't know what to do with 600 fields. But if I have 3 fields that I knew were crucial to my selling process, I would make sure that those are completed, and I would eliminate and I would mute all the other noise. So you have to remember, a good CRM strategy has to clearly define the information that is most relevant to improving your business processes. And then you have to focus on capturing the key data and make that a part of that process. So use it to segment your customers. Use it to do targeted promotion. Use it to strengthen the customer relationship. Use it to improve the customer experience. All these things are possible if you have the right data. I'm going to give you a quick example. How do I strengthen my customer relationship? If I go to my contact record and I know when their birthday is, and I create a report every month that tells me when my customer's birthday is, I'll be able to call them. That strengthens my relationship. If I know which of my customers whose birthdays this month play golf, and I send them a box of golf balls with my logo on it, not only am I promoting my product, but I'm showing them that I'm giving them something that's relevant to what they do, that I know them. If I know that they're a golfer, then I maybe invite them to the golf tournament. So again, only capture the information that you can use and use it. And you have to do this properly. But in order to do this, you need to be able to follow the 4 V's plus 1 U of data management. Number 1, the volume. Only the right number of data. Don't complicate the process by trying to capture every piece of information out there. 2, velocity. How soon can I use the data that I'm capturing to make the analysis that I need to action on it? 3rd V, variety. What are the different types of customer data that I'm looking for? You know, do I want information on the individual? Do I want information on their business? Do I want information on both? You know, these are the things that you have to be able to capture. Do I need information on transactions that they've done with me? On products that they've purchased and not purchased? You know, do I need information on the value, the lifetime value that this customer has given me? So the variety of information is going to be very crucial. Veracity is of utmost importance. If the data is not good, you won't be able to do anything with it, even if you had all the intention in the world. Garbage in, garbage out. So you want to make sure that the data is cleaned up properly, that you have deduplication in your system, that you're ensuring that the data that you have there is reliable. And that U is for utility. How useful is this data? So if it meets this criteria, I can get enough of it, I can process it quickly enough, I can get the different angles of information that I need, I can make sure the data is accurate, and I can use it, then you're on the right track. So again, simplify your processes and focus on actionable data. You're going to see how this is going to change the way you market and the way you sell and the way you serve your customers. Now we're going to talk about continuity and evolution. So those who mastered the CRM are no longer in the company. Those who started all this movement are no longer here. How do I deal with this problem? How do I prevent this from happening in the future? So number 1, you want to develop a strong communication and change management program that focuses on user benefits. I mentioned that at the beginning, but you also want to make sure that this is seamlessly aligned with your business processes so that it's not people doing the same thing they've always done and now doing it in Salesforce. That is not going to add value. So what you need to do is, look, this is the methodology with which we want to sell. These are the key steps in the process. Salesforce are going to make sure that you don't skip any of them. And it's going to help you do it consistently. And it's going to help you remember every single task that you've committed to doing for your customer. And it's going to help you remember every appointment. And it's going to help you know when the contract expires. So you, as a user, know that if you don't use Salesforce, you're going to drop the ball. And you're not going to perform to your potential. So make sure this is clearly articulated and demonstrated to the user. Number 2, create modular classroom and video training programs. And use gamification. Okay, use tools that process the information quicker. Instead of taking them out for 2 days, give them short bursts of information that are easier to retain, and then verify that they've learned it through gamification, through an application that allows you to track what they know and how confident they are about what they know. Also use assessments. Do quizzes once in a while. Let me see if you're using Salesforce effectively. I need you to fill out this quiz. This way you'll be able to guarantee higher retention rates, and you're going to be able to ensure more continuity in the use of the application. Because remember, not everybody has been in your business the same amount of time. So there's going to be people at different levels. If I want to get them all to the same level, I need to make sure that I have the information out there for them to catch up. And then I need to make sure that I assess that they're actually doing it and that they're actually learning the things that I need them to learn. And number 3, you want to seek expert advice and comprehensive support from an unbiased source that can guide your team as you develop, refresh, or improve your business processes, and you sync them with the CRM automation. This is really important because you know what? I know that most people think, oh, we can do all this. The reality is that it's very valuable when somebody that's not contaminated with, the preconceived notions of your business comes in and gives you completely unbiased, out of left field suggestions that will encourage you to take action into things that you would have not thought of. It's bringing in that lateral thinking into your organization so you can truly get out of the box. So this is where, a third party can help you. And become active in expert communities so you can participate in those communities, in industry events. They'll help you increase your knowledge, ask questions that other colleagues can answer, and ultimately become an expert. So if you do these things, I guarantee you, you're never going to have a problem with continuity and evolution of your CRM as your processes and your businesses continues to evolve. Next, we want to talk about the lack of resources. You know what? We did this, but we don't have the dedicated or even, half-time resources to manage our CRM programs and technology. This is something you really need to look at hard. And you have options. So one, incorporate 1 or 2 internal resources to manage your basic changes in your CRM system. Salesforce is easy enough that you don't need an IT resource to do that. You can train an analyst to do the basic changes in the application, like reporting, creating fields, automating processes, automating approvals, so that you can get the things you need to be adjusted at your speed. Number 2, assign a CRM functional business champion. This is not an admin to make changes and analyze data. This is somebody that understands your methodology to selling or serving or marketing. And this is the person that is listening proactively to what your users are saying, capturing that data, prioritizing it, converting it into processes, and then syncing up with the admin so it can be, automated in your CRM. And third, engage a trusted consulting firm to support your internal resources and provide guidance to help you navigate more complex issues. So if you can do it yourself, your partner is going to be able to bring light to the things that you might not be looking at based on what they've experienced, based on best practices, based on what the industry is doing, and things that are not going to be in your radar. But if you don't have the resources, then they can take that on for you and allow you to continue to evolve and continue to make the changes in real time. So you want to make sure that you're looking at organizations such as ours that can help you address these things on a proactive and functional basis, not just at a technical level. So this is going to be absolutely important so that you can stay up to speed with your CRM. As we go through this, we're getting to the end of the presentation, and we want to talk about extending the reach of your CRM. So this is really what got us started with this topic for the webinar. We have customers say, okay, so now I've got here, but how do I get more value? And before we got here, we said, yeah, but for you to be here, you have to have done a series of things before that. And that's why we covered the previous slides, because we want to make sure that you have the right adoption. You want to make sure that you're capturing the right information. We want to make sure that you're using the information effectively and that information is becoming actionable. So if you have those things, there's so much more you can do. So here's a few of them. Number 1 is master the basics. So sales, marketing, and customer service has already been, is already incorporated in the DNA of how you operate. Number 2, make sure that you are using your mobile applications. Your CRM is very powerful, but it shouldn't be waiting for you to get to the office for you to engage with it. This should be updated on the road from any device, anywhere, at any time. You want to make sure that you're integrating with other key systems. In other words, you have this 360 view of your customer. Well, okay, I have all the information of the customer, but I don't know what they've bought from me in the last year. Well, then you need to synchronize it with your ERP. Well, we have this, but no, you want to make sure you have that 360-degree view. Develop your own add-on applications. Like I mentioned before, commissions, inventory. Salesforce is a platform that allows you to build any application within your instance, allowing you to integrate everything in one place, which ultimately makes your life easier. So if there's something that you are not doing with your CRM that you feel is important to make your life easier, build it on the application. Salesforce is tremendously effective doing this. Use marketing automation. Drip campaigns. I mentioned Pardot before. There's other applications out there. But you want to make sure that every lead is being attended. And what happens now is you have a limited number of salespeople. And you can't expect that they're all going to contact every lead every day as consistently as they should. So by doing this marketing automation, you continue the communication automatically with your customer until they're ready to speak to your sales rep. Interactive documents and electronic signatures. We talked about DocuMotion, DocuSign. These are great tools that help you. DocuMotion I love because it has everything in one, and you can do the interactive data transfer between your documents and Salesforce. You also get electronic signatures and all that. You have integration with social marketing. You have this wealth of information in your CRM, but you are blinded, to what they're saying on social media. And these people, these customers, they're talking. They may be talking about your brand, and they may be talking about products that they're interested in, and you may not be listening. So you want to make sure that that's all interconnected. Performance management. Extend the capabilities of your CRM, because most of what you're measuring already for your salespeople and your service people and your marketing people is in Salesforce. Now, why don't I complete that with the qualitative part of performance? And you can do that with work.com. Geolocation capabilities. I want to map out the routing for my sales calls tomorrow. You can do this with applications like Map Anything. I want to know where most of my people are visiting customers. I want to know where most of my customers are. I want to know where I'm getting the most leads from. All these things you can now map to a specific location in your CRM. So this is very, very powerful if you have field service people, if you have field sales people, if you're doing multiple territories. This could be very, very useful to help you invest in the areas where you're getting the most potential. Field services, so you can track your work orders, your repairs, your maintenance efforts. Order management, the delivery of your product to the customer. How is that integrated with your CRM? How are you able to know when the customer has actually received the product and they've signed for it? CPQ, if you're in telecommunications or you're in an industry of technology that requires you to bundle diverse products, you want to make sure that you're configuring those solutions, you're pricing and quoting them in your CRM. You don't want to be using other applications, because then what you're doing is you're taking away visibility from your CRM, which should have that 360-degree view. BI, how am I using the data, like I mentioned before, to segment customers, to do targeted promotions? Use it for business intelligence. And finally, extend the CRM capabilities through integrated applications. If you go to the Salesforce App Exchange, that's appexchange.com. There's over 3,000 applications out there for, exactly the problems that you are seeking. So you may not need to build it. It may already be built. All you have to do is add it on. It'll incorporate into Salesforce, and you can start using it right away. There's been over 4 million installations of these applications. And the best thing about them is that they are integrated into Salesforce, and they can address specific issues within your department or other departments, within your industry or other industries. So take advantage of these things, because they are there for your benefit. So again, this comes to the end of our content. Now what we want to do is we want to open it up for questions. So I'm going to have Diana help me out in this process and share with me some of the questions that she's been getting.
Yeah, thank you, Mariano. We do have some good questions here for you to answer. The first one will be, how can CRM provide a positive benefit of organizations showing positive ROI?
Thank you, Diana. That's the million-dollar question, right? So I'm investing all this money in my CRM. How do I know what the payback is going to be? And you know what? The answer is easier than you would think. Because if you're looking at a CRM, you are already looking to improve something within your business. Okay, so what I'll ask you to consider is this. If I want a CRM, it's probably because I want to solve certain problems. And if what I want to do is, for example, I want to make sure that my salespeople are doing more visits. And I'm just, picking this example. And I know that I already do $1 million in sales. So if I was able to do 100 more visits a month, what would be the impact on my sales numbers? So if I can do that exercise and say, okay, I'm doing 600 visits today, that's giving me X number of deals. If I increase that by 5%, how much more business will that bring me? So if I have $1 million in sales and I've improved 5% because of these visits that I can now track in Salesforce, that's $50,000 right there. Okay, if I use another example, what happened if I closed 10% more of my deals by improving conversion rate? And that had an impact of $100,000. Now that's $100,000 plus $50,000 extra that I would have in my revenue stream. And if I grew the opportunity by selling bigger deals, because now I can focus on those that have the highest value, and that had an impact of 5%. That's another 50K. So if you do the math, 50 plus 100 plus 50 gives you $200,000 in extra revenue. If I divide that by my CRM investment, that'll give me my return on investment. So I can speculate and say, you know what, I'm going to have $100,000 more in sales. If it's costing me $100,000 to implement the CRM, I'm going to get a 12-month return on my investment. And of course, we can help you if you're going through those questions. We would be more than happy to address them individually because each business is different. But clearly, what you want to do is, what is my improvement? How will that impact my overall numbers? And how do I compare that to the investment I'm doing on CRM?
Perfect. We have a question about reports here. They want to know, how can they get the most out of the reports?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. So, like I mentioned before, a lot of people use the CRM only for reporting, and that's for a reason. I mean, CRMs have great functionality to produce very exciting dashboards and reports that gives you real-time information. And that's definitely a benefit. But to get the most out of your reports, I'll say do two things. Minimize quantity, maximize quality. In other words, I have customers that have 100 reports. Are you seriously going to tell me that you have time to review 100 reports? I don't think so. So tell me, what are the reports that are giving me the key information that I need, which is how many visits are my salespeople doing, how many leads are they generating as a result of those visits, how many of those leads are being converted into opportunities, what percentage of those opportunities, rank high in the value scale. In other words, these are the bigger deals. What percentage of those deals are being closed? In what amount of time are they being closed? And if I can put all this information in one report, now I can have a full-on sales meeting where I'll be able to ask the right questions, get the answers I'm expecting, and coach my team to be more productive. So the way you get the most out of your reports is understanding what you're wanting to improve, ensuring that your CRM captures that information, that it's being updated in real time, and that you're configuring the right reports, and that you minimize the quantity of reports and you maximize the quality of each report. Again, these are all things that you can write to us, and we'll be happy to do a deeper dive based on the very specific issues that your business is facing.
Thank you, Mariano. We have another question, and I think it has to do with data. How can I analyze information better with my CRM?
Okay, so we had a slide on this, which was, focus on actionable data. And we also spoke about, the 4 V's and the 1 U, right? So I want to take you there very quickly. If you want to maximize data, the first thing you need to do is you need to know what data you can do something about. So if I know the number of average visits done by all my salespeople, and I can relate that to their actual number of deals closed, I would now have better control of how many visits I need to do to increase my revenues, right? So you have to go through that painful exercise. And I say painful because it truly is. You need to go through the analysis of, what do I need to know to improve my results? It's easy for you to know what's going wrong. Okay, so that's a great start. I know this is not working. The next thing is, why is it not working? And if you start answering the why, you'll start understanding the what and the how. So what do I need to know, and how do I fix it? And once you have that, you'll have a subset of data that you know is critical to the business. You focus on that subset of data. There will be time for you to address other things, but you focus on those that are going to have the biggest impact in your results in the quicker, or the fastest time possible. And then you apply the 4 V's plus 1 U. Can I get the right volume? Can I process it quickly enough? Do I have the different types of information that I need? Can I count on the integrity of that data, and can I use it? And if you come here, you're going to find that the answer to these questions are going to be a lot easier than you would expect, because it's the idea here is that we're giving you a roadmap of how you ought to be thinking to pull exactly the information that is relevant to your business, because no two businesses are alike and no two businesses have the same problems. They may share some, but for the most part, they have very individual issues.
Thank you, Mariano. So we have another question about social media. They want to know, can social media help my company get more out of my CRM?
Well, I'm actually happy about that question because actually our next webinar is on social media. So it's social CRM. The answer is yes, because it's amazing and it's still mind-boggling to me that you go to somebody's Facebook page or Twitter page or Instagram, and people are willing to share very personal things to the whole world, yet they will not share them with you on a one-on-one basis. So imagine if I knew exactly what my customers were talking about and what they were interested in. Wouldn't that make for a very powerful value proposition? I think it would. So you want to put in your CRM the part of the conversation that is not happening directly with you in context with the information that is happening with you and in context with the behaviors that the customers have exhibited through their interaction with your business. And now you have very powerful data that you can use to upsell, cross-sell, deliver better service, and ultimately retain your customers more effectively. So absolutely, social is becoming more and more important. And by the way, some of you may be in B2B and say, B2B, customers are not using social media. Well, maybe the corporations aren't, but remember, you're not doing business with a corporation. The person that's actually signing your contract is like you and me. It's another person. And they are probably in social media. So the better you know them, the better you'll be able to position your product, your brand, and your service to meet their needs. You remember in the old days, they would give us these cheesy sales tactics, go into your customer's office, look at their pictures, ask them something about their family. That was 30 years ago. Today, people are sharing so much more on social media. And if you have visibility of that, it is definitely going to make you a lot more effective in how you sell, how you position, how you brand, how you serve, and how you retain your customers.
Thank you, Mariano. We only have time for one last question. And someone here wants you to mention the top 3 apps that you would recommend to help maximize their CRM.
Okay, so I cannot truly answer that because I don't know, what are the specific issues of that company, of your company. I'll tell you that the top apps that I feel can be very helpful. So, number one, if you haven't integrated with your ERP or your OSS or your BSS system or whatever other process automation tool you have, Scribe is a great tool for doing that. Scribe allows you to integrate with third-party applications very, very effectively. So, Scribe, I would suggest that, you consider it as soon as you're looking for, here's Scribe, as soon as you're looking for integration. Cirrus, I love Cirrus because Cirrus allows you to integrate your emails and your documents and your calendar with Salesforce. So it's kind of like integrating, your Outlook and your CRM all in one. And I think it's very powerful. And Cirrus is coming up with a lot of really cool things, like the ability for you to know if the customers opened your email, how many times they've opened your emails, and all these things, which you can see right there from your inbox. So I like Cirrus Insight a lot. I talked about performance. That's where work.com could become very, very helpful for you because now you can manage, like I said, not just the quantitative data that's in the CRM, but also the qualitative data as to the certifications and other initiatives that you expect your salespeople to be compliant with. And I love Docomotion because of the ability to use interactive documents, be able to do quotes, be able to do contracts, be able to do electronic signatures all in one place, and then of course have all that information embedded into your CRM. There's many others. I do like Pardot, like I mentioned before, for marketing automation, and I think if you've already matured that uses Salesforce, you definitely want to look at communities. You want to do your partner communities if you work through different channels that are external to your organization, and you want to do your customer communities if you want to create an ongoing dialogue with your customers. That has proven to be very, very effective for customers seeking to reach that next level. So if no more questions, what I do want to point out is if you look at your GoToWebinar control panel, there's a section there called handouts. And if you click on where it says Webinar Maximize CRM PDF, you'll be able to download today's presentation right out of the GoToWebinar control panel. You need not wait any longer. And as an added bonus today, we included 5 secrets of the most productive salespeople. This is one way to get your salespeople kind of taking tips from other salespeople that are very effective and tie it in with your CRM. So again, those are 2 handouts for you. In appreciation for you being here, you get to go back with the presentation and 5 secrets of the most productive salespeople. We do recommend you go and you share that with the rest of your organization and perhaps help you extract more value from your CRM. Having said that, we do want to remind you, Doble Group does offer ongoing support programs for training, coaching, business process consulting, and your extension help desk. So whether that be new configuration, development, integration, and support, we can do that for you on your terms. You're not locked into any long-term contracts or anything like that. That's available for you based on your specific needs. Once again, we thank you for joining us, and we urge you to continue to follow us on the different social media outlets, and remind you that our next webinar will be on social CRM, so you definitely do not want to miss that webinar. Thank you again for your time. We hope you found our session to be productive, and we look forward to having you in our next webinar.